Welcome to the Hooch, where the only place more messed up than your hosts is the barracks on a Friday night or the VA. So get ready to stand by for your weekly dose of toilet humor and shenanigans from your fellow veterans, Coy Mack and Michael Grizzled Grunt Harris.
The only Michael Harris. Thank you. Sorry about that. The stream got messed up on YouTube when it was initializing, and it made a different link instead of the one it was supposed to go to for the scheduled post. So
yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I was like, what the heck is that link?
yeah, so I gotta stop doing that one eventually. But yeah, if they're on the other one, tell people to come over to the actual link. I should probably share it on the chat just in case. But anyway, we got a good show today. We're going to talk about OJ's death because that's the trending thing now. As you all know, OJ Simpson is famous for being a football player and also maybe or maybe not murdering his wife.
And going to jail for stealing his own stuff in Las Vegas. Yeah.
Still, this weirdest thing to me is that he was arrested for that.
Oh, man.
I mean, who gets arrested for stealing their own stuff?
A thief?
Yeah.
Well, technically, it wasn't his stuff because he sold it or donated it. I forget, to this memorabilia football place. And I guess he was low on cash. And he was like, this is my stuff. And he took it and went to jail for it.
Yep. I'm trying to fix the stuff back here. People on the wrong live still. So, how do I'm trying to think of how to get rid of this post entirely, but it's not showing it up like it's supposed to.
Oh, it's the wrong. Oh, I see. It says upcoming, but it's not upcoming. It's actually.
Yeah, it didn't launch on the upcoming one. It launched on a completely different one. That's why I'm.
Did it launch on the one with the OJ thumbnail or the one with you and I?
The one with you and I is the one it launched on. So that's not the OJ one.
That's the right one. The one with you and I.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of confusion. So yeah, sorry about that, folks. Here we go. Now I got it. I just need to delete this one real quick. Okay, I deleted that link, so you should be able to go to the actual correct one.
All right, they're coming in. Hello.
I got it updated now. Okay.
All right. Yeah,
that's the thing about live. Some things get mad.
I posted the correct one on Facebook and my other page.
That's all good.
Patriots, the Hooch. So
hopefully we'll get everybody where they're supposed to go. Anyway, yeah, that's the dangers of live is that you can have issues.
It happens. It happens.
It was a mistake, I promise. All right. Anyway, so let's move on from that. So that's kind of where we are today. We're going to talk about OJ. We're going to talk about the Roku TV thing where they're going to be force injecting HDMI ads. So as soon as you plug in any HDMI device to your television, they're going to force ads for you to watch that you cannot control.
On Roku TVs, correct?
Oh, no, not just Roku TVs, any TV. It'll make it so they can inject ads no matter what TV through the HDMI port. So like it's
PlayStation.
Yeah, if you're playing PlayStation, you hook it up to your TV, it'll inject it through the HDMI port.
So if I'm in the middle of a game, it will show an ad in the middle of your game?
Only when you pause it, it'll probably show it.
What?
Yeah, I
What?
Not a joke, real deal. Oh, that's what they're going to be doing from now on.
And let me guess, it'll be political ads.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be all kinds of ads. It's whatever they're going to get paid for.
Yeah, one thing I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed it about YouTube, every single ad that you see that's politically driven is a Joe Biden ad. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah,
they're all Joe Biden ads.
Because they're the only ones to get approved.
Oh,
don't you know?
Crazy.
It's like you can advertise on our platform. Whether we approve your ad because it's political is a different story.
Mm-hmm. Things to come, America.
Right. So we also got to talk about the Ashley Biden diary as well and how that ties into Alex Jones and Donald Trump. But first off, I want to make fun of the Navy because they did something absolutely stupid.
Of course.
And it was posted this photo. I don't know who that is. I'm not going to look up who that is. I'm just going to assume it's somebody in a high position of power, or at least a high rank, who is messing up his firing position. And not only that, the scope is not on correctly either.
Right, so break down his firing position. First off, his elbow.
Man, look at that chicken wing.
Yeah, why is he chicken winging like that? What's he doing?
I know, right? He chicken winging in it.
I bet you he's slapping the trigger too. I guarantee it.
I mean, the shoulder is what gets me. Like how high that is. He doesn't even have it in the pocket at all. He's just got it way up here. And then it's also the like, do you really need to have the foregrip that close?
No.
That seems uncomfortable to me. At that point, you might as well just grab the magazine weld. Like,
yeah, I mean that whole position would be unstable, but you do want the front grip if you use one. I didn't use one personally, but you want it further out because you want that support hand supporting more of the front where the barrel is. You don't want to touch the barrel, obviously, but more of the front, hand guard. That's where you want your support. It helps control the kick of the weapon.
Yep. But yeah, like I don't get that. Why would you hold it that way? And then we're also looking at the scope as well.
Those rounds.
It appears to be on backwards.
Yeah, it does. Zoom in. Can you zoom in any further?
I tried. I just messed it up. But here, let me bring out the photo by itself, and then I can.
Yeah, I'm looking at the brass too. This shit looks.
Okay,
fake.
there we go.
All right.
Ooh.
Okay,
all right, there
let's
we go.
look. Okay, now, all right, let's start. Let's see, we set his elbow. Now look at his firing hand. What is one rule of thumb when firing a weapon? What do you want to do with that pistol grip? You want to shake it, right? You want to shake like you're shaking someone's hand. So you want that little meaty part in your hand right here.
Yep. Yeah.
All the way up. So he's grabbing it low. So that's not a stable firing position.
Yep.
All right.
Not only that, I mean, at least he's got the cheek weld going on, but like, yeah, but it's how close he is to his nose is like literally almost touching the charging handle. It's like this, like making love to it, man. Just like right in there.
I got a question. Zoom in on the back sight in the front. Zoom all the way in on the sight. All the way up to the front of the weapon.
Yeah.
I'm seeing something. Hold on. Can you zoom in
what
on
are we
that?
seeing? Where?
On the front. Yeah, right there. Keep going. Now zoom in on that. The front of the
Which
sight.
part? This part?
Yeah, the front of the sight. Yeah, right there.
Front of it. Okay.
Something looks off. Does it look like it's open?
What are you talking about? Here?
The sight. You know, the you know how the sight has the protective cover?
Mm-hmm.
Does it look like it's on there, or does it look like it's off?
I don't know. I can't really tell, but I kind of look like the barrel's bent a little bit. Does it seem like that to you, or maybe that's just distortion from the camera?
I don't know. That just looks.
It looks kind of.
And it's
I
backwards.
don't know, wonky.
I mean,
it looks wonky to me.
It's backwards too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so this is coming from the official Navy like Instagram too, by the way, which is the worst part about that. And I think Tim Kennedy's tweet about it was hilarious because he brings up a great point. Is that bring up the actual tweet that he said about it? Here we go. We'll zoom in.
Oh, I got something.
So it's not that the dude put the scope on backwards. It's that one dude put a scope on backwards. A dude with a camera took a picture of that dude, put a scope on backwards, and the person that took that picture sent that photo to the PAO office, Public Affairs Office, if you didn't know what that stands for. And the PAO office sent it to a person that does social media, and that person posted it. and there were probably 10 people in the Navy that saw this photo and thought it was a good idea to post it.
I thought it was a good idea. This is awesome. People are going to join
That was
the
a
Navy.
great idea.
Now, this photo says a lot about the upper echelon or the upper leadership,
Yeah.
right? We talked about it before with the director of the ATF a couple episodes ago, where he couldn't disassemble a Glock. Just goes to show you, because if somebody handed me that weapon as a sergeant first class, handed me that weapon, and I looked at it, I would have been like, why is the sight on backwards? Why? That would have been a first thing. But this guy, obviously being upper echelon, being supposed to be in charge of people, telling people what to do, handing out, UCMJ, signing off on this and that, and making all these rules, couldn't even tell if something was wrong. He was like, why is everything look so far away? Isn't this a scope? Isn't it supposed to be close?
I'm going to do the old man thing. I remember in my time as a little PFC, if I would have messed up something stupid like that, I would have gotten smacked. Back in my day.
and it's embarrassing because
Yeah.
you can't post pictures like this these days because they're the veteran community out here, and I hate the term community, but the veterans out there are they're gonna dissect stuff like this, man. They should know that. They should. When that picture went to the PAO, they were like, hold on, we need more people to look at this to make sure it's 100% correct, because the veteran community, they are savage as hell, and they are going to dissect this photo down to every portion of it. So this guy just made a fool of himself. He's untrained, and he's in charge of people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely hilarious, by the way, because it's like, why? You're supposed to show that you know what you're doing, and then doesn't vote for confidence. If you like, you look like a Haji McDodger out there doing the little, the AK like thing that he over top,
Yeah, it's
like it's about as bad as that, man. Don't do that.
It's embarrassing, and no branch is safe from this because we've seen it. We've seen it in Army.
I saw the Army.
Yeah.
You saw the Army general doing it.
Yeah, they've all done it, not knowing how to use a weapon, not knowing how to do anything with the weapon system except shoot it, pull the trigger, and then they get up there and want to critique you on things. You can barely do this, skill level 1 task, but you want to critique me on 2, 3, and 4? Get out of here.
Right.
Back to basic.
And it'll continue to be that way until people actually call these people out for being stupid, but nobody will because they want to take accountability for people higher than them. Take the risk, man. Don't let people look stupid. So now I'm sure that he's upset about it.
Hey, and before you go on, I'm sorry. I was one of those guys that would say the things. I wasn't scared to voice my opinion. And if you voice your opinion and you're right and you do it respectfully, a lot of times they'll listen. They may chew you out, but they're listening. Trust me, they're listening. So don't be afraid to voice your opinion. Be respectful within the confines of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, but voice your opinion.
And moving on from that, we got some other bit of news, kind of like mini news. Is Donald Trump goes to Chick-fil-A?
I like this.
Because of course he does. I always find it funny, like when he does these kind of like stops, how people actually act around him in that. And so this video kind of like really shows that, in my opinion.
I have 30 milkshakes and also some chicken, and we're going to take care of the customers. Is business good? You're making a lot of money? You're getting rich, right?
I mean, this is like why people like him. Is because he's like, when you meet him in person, he's a personable guy. Like he can actually form a sentence. He's not stumbling around like an old man. He's a nice dude, but it's just funny to me that people keep saying that he's this racist.
Oh,
absolute racist, right? Because like, to me, I think if you were an actual racist, you wouldn't let somebody of a certain color hug you. Right? I'm assuming that's how it works, right? If you're an absolute white supremacist, you don't like actually touching people with said color.
Yeah, why would you even, if he was a true racist, why would he even be anywhere around them, near them?
Yeah.
He'd be like, let's go find a different Chick-fil-A. I don't like all these you know what's in here. I don't want them touching my food, but he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like a certain like governor Newsom, who I suspect anytime he touches somebody's hand, he's always doing hand sanitizer like this afterwards.
Yep.
He looks like that kind of person.
You
You know what I mean?
Unlike Governor Newsom pulling the homeless black people off the street and then they disappear and nobody knows where they're at. You know, I mean.
Oh yeah. Because she was coming to town and he had to make a good impression on the Chinese communist leader. Yeah,
That's That's,
yeah. I can fix homelessness like that, but I won't unless it's a leader I have to impress.
Yeah. I want a job in his cabinet, so I'm going to impress him.
Right. So, but yeah, here's the interaction that I'm talking about.
So I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you. We support you, Mike. Okay, 4 p.m. We've been 4 p.m.
Come here, let me give you a
Yeah. For an absolute, unobjectable, horrible person who's worse than Hitler and the biggest racist on the planet, he sure has no problem with being hugged by a young black woman.
And what's ironic about this is Southern black people usually are very hardcore Democrats in the South.
Yeah.
And to see these people in Atlanta, Georgia, clapping for him, and not just her, everyone. No one looked at him crazy. Everyone's clapping, laughing, doing all this stuff. And people will still call him a racist, or they'll call this some photo op, or they'll call them tokens, whatever words they
It's
like
obviously
to
a photo op. I'm not gonna pass on that. It's obviously a photo op, but he actually cares about what he's doing. That's the difference. The same thing with the funeral for the fallen officer in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like they had Hochul leave the funeral because they didn't want her there, but him, on the other hand, they did. So, I mean, it tells you something. I mean, he actually genuinely cares about the things that he's doing. Like when the Palestine train derailment happened, he was there. Joe Biden wasn't. He wasn't even the president, and he was there.
And most major events, even before he was president, when 9/11 happened, he was there.
Yep.
He went there to look at the destruction. He was there. So he's always been there. He's always been a caring person. Is he a little brash at times? Yeah, he's a businessman.
Is he kind of an asshole? Yeah, but most New Yorkers are assholes.
Yeah, he's from New York. He grew up in an environment where he had to deal with mob bosses, mobsters, crooked politicians, people trying to steal his money, people trying to extort him, people trying to sue him. Yeah. So you would be one too at some point.
I think, like I said, it's one of those things of that people just keep coming after him, even though he's not the monster that everybody claims he is. Like, honestly, like the comparison that he's the worst person in the entire history of humanity over some mean tweets. Well, it's not just mean tweets. It's like, seriously, what has he done so egregious that he deserves to lose everything?
I'll wait.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, has he done anything worse than any of the other presidents? I mean, I'll even bring down Bush. Bush is a war criminal who should be tried at The Hague. And his dad for what they've done, right? But he is nowhere near George Bush level. He's also nowhere near Bill Clinton level.
Nope.
Or Obama.
Nope.
Or Bush Senior, right?
Not even close. And definitely not Biden.
Not even close.
Definitely not Biden.
Yep. So he hasn't done anything as egregious as these people, and we can name the laundry list. Now, has he done some things he probably shouldn't have done? Absolutely.
Everybody has.
Nobody's perfect. Right?
And the thing that a lot of leftists would always bring up, especially the ones that are still sold that Donald Trump is a racist, they always bring up every time, what has he done that's so racist? The Central Park Five. They bring up some stuff where he wasn't in politics. He said something back then as a citizen, but then he came back and pretty much said, "Hey, I apologize for what I said. These guys went to court. They were found not guilty. So boom, done and over with." They still bring that up. They still bring up the fact that they try to gaslight people and make them think he said that all Mexicans are rapists and bad people. Yeah, that's all they bring up. That's it.
No, he said some people that are coming across the border are rapists and murderers, which they are. Mm-hmm. That is without a doubt a fact that is happening at the border. We know this is a fact because they keep telling us they're doing it. They're making tons of money off of it, but you're like saying, no, there's no problem, even though you're letting children and women be raped constantly at the border to feed your stupid need for superiority of some sort. I don't know. I don't know why you do it. Oh, wait, no, I remember. It's for votes and electoral votes. That's what it is.
We know what it is.
We know what it is.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they say Donald Trump is the most egregious person on the planet, but then they also are now memory holing the Ashley Biden diary. For those who don't know, a woman in Florida was charged and convicted to a month in prison for stealing Ashley Biden's diary.
Huh.
For stealing. What I understand from the story is that Ashley Biden left it at a place for people with problems, and she took it. That's about it. She didn't like sneak into her room and unlocked a cabinet to steal her diary. It was left in a place, just like the laptop with a bunch of incriminating evidence against Biden was left in a place.
Yeah, that's not stealing.
Yeah, it's not stealing. It's you left it and then you forgot about it because that family is completely messed up.
Yeah, it became stolen in the minute she gave it to, Project Veritas, James O'Keefe. Then they were like, oh, that guy, she stole it. And why only a month? I mean, if this is such a whole month, I get it. It sucks. She's got to go to jail. That sucks over something that she shouldn't even be going to jail for. You got people that commit have DUIs, injure people, and they go in jail and get out the same day sometimes. So I don't know. That's a little over the top for me.
So here's the story, is that the woman was sentenced to a month in jail Tuesday after being convicted of stealing a diary kept by President Joe Biden's daughter, which, remember, in 2020, they're saying it wasn't real, that the diary wasn't real, it wasn't a real thing, just like the laptop wasn't real, it wasn't a real thing. These two things happened at the same exact time in the same year, right? Both claiming that Joe Biden has done things to minors, including one of them being her. That is the claim. Whether it's true or not, we won't know. We'll probably never know. But that's the claim. Right? And then selling it to far-right news online news site for $40,000. Which they sold it to Project Veritas, which they used this as justification to raid James O'Keefe's house. Right? And get emails, protected emails from his lawyer, who he happened to be in a lawsuit with the New York Times at the time.
For something that didn't exist.
For something that didn't exist, by the way. This diary does not exist. It is not a real thing, but apparently now it is. It is now a real thing because a woman has been arrested and convicted for the diary.
Yep.
So,
and it'll disappear, but I guarantee James O'Keefe's not. Does he still have it?
No, he gave it to the FBI because he thought it was because he did the right thing. What they do with dubious information, they can't verify and they don't know is real. They're like, hey, we've got this thing. He gave it to them, and then they raided him in return, mind you. So how messed up is that, right?
Yeah. So like copies of it.
So that's the funniest thing. And I mean, these are purported to be pictures from the diary itself that are going around on Twitter. And saying that she was hypersexualized at a young age and that I was molested and that there was inappropriate showering with a Mr. Biden. Is what the claim is. Now, whether that's true or not, like I said, I don't know. But
we've heard crazier, so I believe it. Especially about
in the year that has the release of the Nickelodeon documentary, Diddy, and after previously the Epstein stuff, is it really that far-fetched that Joe Biden did dirty things to certain people? Is it really that far-fetched from watching all the sniffing videos? Is it really
Not
that
at
far-fetched of a stretch to think he might have done something to both his daughter and his son to make them as messed up as they are?
Yep. I mean, look at Hunter Biden. and then all that stuff on his laptop. Is it really that far-fetched to...
Literally had his dad saved on his phone as Pedo Pete.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it really that much of a stretch?
No.
Like, in the least bit? I don't think so. I don't think it is. But it also goes to show, like I said, that the FBI is covering for certain people, and they're also going after certain people for what they do. Like James O'Keefe, like I said, was targeted because of a diary that wasn't real, mind you. And the reason they were going after James O'Keefe is because the investigation that he does is exposing people like this.
Oh, yeah, this is good.
Right?
And
so
you're going to break it down.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You break it down.
No. You know more. I just saw the video. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's like this is a CIA officer and former FBI. I think it was an analyst or something like that. Mm-hmm. Boasting that you can put anyone in jail, set them up, we can nudge it. Like this is a guy that's claiming that they nudged people to start lawsuits against Alex Jones to chop off his legs, right? To get rid of his ability to use a platform. The same thing that they're doing to Donald Trump, by the way. Everything in their power in order to cut off his legs in order for him to not be able to run in the election.
Yep.
Is what they're doing. That's what they keep doing.
So this should make you question why they went after Alex Jones. Because they went after him, they said, because of Sandy Hook. There was a Sandy Hook lawsuit. So
they nudged them to do the Sandy Hook thing.
So you nudged them to go after him for Sandy Hook. But what this guy is saying right here, that could have all been made up. You know, because he questioned Sandy Hook, and you nudged him to go after him because of he's questioning the mainstream narrative on an incident. Don't we have the right to do that? We have the right to question anything.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna play the entire video. If you want to check it out, I posted a link in the chat. But I think the first part actually says what he's talking about.
You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do.
How?
You set them up.
Does the Bureau practice entrapment a lot?
And we get really close. We call it a nudge.
A nudge.
A nudge. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick little, just to see what happens. Sometimes you light the fuse and just wait for it to follow.
Huh?
But that's how these people think, man. Like there's no way around that. That's what they do, and that's how they feel. That's what they think.
It's the J. Edgar Hoover FBI. Never ended.
It's always been corrupt.
It's always been corrupt. You know, and the minute you question FBI, now you're frowned upon for questioning our law enforcement, because you're not allowed to question them, or you're anti-law enforcement. No, we're not anti-law enforcement. We're anti-corruption. There's a big difference. We support law enforcement, the good ones, the ones that are actually following the Constitution, the ones that aren't out there, you know, abusing their authority to harass and target American people. We don't like the corrupt ones.
Yep.
That's it. We need to get rid of them all. Start from the top, work your way down, clean it out, put some new people in there.
Yep, you're right. The government is a mafia. And if anybody tells you otherwise, they're lying to you, because they extort money from you in order to protect you from certain things. And if you don't pay them protection money, they will come after you.
Exactly. Through taxes. It's called taxes.
Through taxes, right?
Yeah, it's called taxes.
So they're supposed to give you, like, it's even worse than that. They're even a scam, because like you give them money in expectations of getting a product or a thing in return, and yet they give it to somebody else and they launder that money to their own pockets and give you nothing. So it's a total scam. They'll tell us that we have a deficit, we have a debt of umpteen $1 trillion, right? Trillions
then
of dollars.
under the same breath, they'll say, but we're going to send $1 billion to these foreign countries.
Yep.
You know, we're just going to send it to them. Then under the same breath, they're going to be like, yeah, we're in debt, so we're going to raise taxes because we need more of your money to try to pay for a debt that doesn't really exist, because our paper money is bull crap. So there is no debt because the money is useless. It's just debt with fake money that we're forced to pay. Then if you don't pay it, we're going to take everything from you. We're going to take your house, we're going to ruin your life. We're going to do all this stuff. So I suggest you pay us.
Yep.
It's mafia
Do you own your house? No, you absolutely don't own your house, because even if you pay off your house and you have no liens or mortgages on your house, you still have to pay the government, and if you don't, they'll take it.
Same with your car.
Same
You
with your
know,
car,
anything you have to register, you're handing over ownership to whatever that is. You have to register. You're handing ownership of whatever it is to the government. So at any moment in time, since it's registered, they can come and take it anytime they want. Anytime.
Yep.
Your car,
Anytime.
yeah, it's paid for. You own it. You think you own it. You have the title, but it's registered to the state. So if the state wants to take something that you signed over, not knowing you signed it over to them through a registration, they can come and take it. Yep. Just remember that.
So here's Alex Jones talking about this particular clip. He's saying that he's going to actually sue the FBI and the CIA, which is going to be fun because it'll take decades, if anything will actually happen, because that's how corrupt everything is that even if you try to hold them to account, they will stonewall it until you just go away because they don't have to. They're like, we don't have to answer to the people that we're responsible to. Yep. We're just gonna ignore it.
But now that this has come out, this is a FBI agent, a CIA boss. He's a contract manager over large contract operations. That's a boss. That's like a mini section chief, saying all of this and admitting all of this like it's no big deal. He needs to be subpoenaed by Congress. I am planning to launch a lawsuit against the CIA and the FBI. We have to bring all this out. And right as my bankruptcy comes to a close and right as all this stuff's being finalized, it's really God working here that this came out at this time.
You just said you were planning on suing the federal government. What would a Alex Jones versus the U.S. government look like?
Well, I'm talking to different law firms right now that specialize in this. In fact, when I get off the feed with you, I'm going to get back on the phone with the lawyers. It's obviously a civil rights violation. It's a government racketeering operation using cutouts. Yeah. And look, I mean, they come after my mother, my father, my wife. In these mediations, they've said, listen, just come out against the Second Amendment and we'll drop all this. I mean, they've done that repeatedly. They've even said, listen, we're a mafia and there's nothing you can do to stop us, to my face, in front of my lawyer, in front of Norm Pattis. And so they're very arrogant. I mean, these are the sellouts. These are the traitors. These are the people that really love being under the corrupt FBI's wings, under the CIA's wings. They get a thrill. They get to go out and persecute fellow.
They do. They do. They get it. They do enjoy the power that they get. I mean, a lot of these activist people enjoy having the power that they get over people, and so when they get into positions of power like that, they feel like they're untouchable, right? Yep. Just like the mafia back in the day, right? They were the untouchables. There was a whole movie about it.
Yeah, because I mean, they're all connected. Who's going to touch them? You know, you have the, what do you call it? The police. What's the word? It's almost like the. It'll come to me. Dang it! It's like the organizations where you pay into the membership. What's it called? The unions, almost. It's like a union. So you had the police.
I was going to say multi-level marketing schemes.
Yes. So you had the police association, right?
Yeah.
Where you pay into the association. So what the associations do, because I was a part of an association when I worked for the sheriff's department. The association, if say you get in some type of legal trouble, the association pretty much covers all your legal fees, unless you lose your qualified immunity, and then that's a whole nother story. So that's why a lot of these officers, FBI, whoever they are arrogant like that, because nothing's coming out of their pockets if they get sued, and everyone's going to back them up from all the way to the top, whoever's in control, all the way back down, from the judge to the lawyers to the prosecutors. They're all in on it, all of them.
I mean, look how they, like I said, they've been treating Trump. I mean, it's so funny to me that they can find so many things to get Trump on, but they couldn't figure out what Epstein was doing for all that time, or did he?
Couldn't figure it out.
Can't figure out what's going on at the border and how all these cartels have infiltrated the United States and taken over all the street gangs. Don't know how that happened. I can't figure that out for the life of me. I also can't figure out who dropped cocaine in the White House.
Nope.
We no idea.
Figure out how this fentanyl is coming over the border, but we got an idea, but we can't stop it. But yeah, every once in a while we'll stop it. Yeah. But most of the time we can't stop it. But we can't figure out when we question the people where they got it from, and we can't trace it back. But we can find bone fragments in the towers after they were demolished. We can find bone fragments,
And the
but we can't
passports.
figure out where all this stuff comes from. I mean, it's all just, they're all connected, man. It's just all, like I said, it's all a movie, and they're putting on a show, and it's just to keep us freaking entertained, what they think is entertainment, and so that they can be taking care of whatever they're taking care of behind this movie that they're playing in front of us. Then once the movie's done, cut. They go into the next movie to keep us entertained over here while they're doing something over here. It's all just an illusion, man. Trump show or Truman Show.
Truman Show, yeah. So since we're cutting to a new movie and keeping you entertained, we got O.J. Simpson is dead today at the age of 76. Ripe old age of 76. O.J. Simpson has died. For the younger people who might watch this, O.J. Simpson was a famous football player who allegedly killed his wife in, 1994, was it?
Yeah.
In 1994.
Yeah. I was in high school.
It's funny to me how people look at this guy, and it's funny to me how we still have no idea what happened, but it's still such a divisive thing that O.J. Simpson may or may not have killed his wife. He may or may not have.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never know. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. So the only person that knows is God. And if he did, he's got to answer for that. He will reap what he sow. If not in this life, you will reap what you sow in the afterlife. Always remember that.
So here's what the BBC's reporting in. O.J. Simpson, former American football star turned actor who controversially cleared of double murder, has died at the age of 76. San Francisco-born Orenthal James Simpson rose to fame in college before playing in the NFL. In 1995, he was acquitted of murder of his former wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend. I like how they never actually say the guy's name. Just her friend. Like, he's just some, acquaintance. It was just some random dude that showed up there, even though they were probably, seeing each other and they were, in an intimate relationship. More than likely is what I'm suspecting, why the whole thing went down in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, just some random friend. Doesn't even say it was a male friend. It was just her friend. Just a friend.
Yeah.
Just some rando. In a trial that gripped America in 2008, he was sentenced to 33 years in imprisonment on unrelated charges of armed robbery, which he robbed himself, apparently, from his own store. And he was released in 2017. I actually thought he was still in jail for a little bit, so this is kind of funny that he actually got out not too long ago.
Yeah, I
forgot
when he got out. And that was a big deal.
So Simpson died of cancer on Wednesday, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. How lucky for him. Most people don't get that option.
Did we even know he had cancer? That would have. I think that would have been kind of newsworthy because he's been on podcasts. He's been doing little shows here and there. At no point was it even mentioned that he had cancer.
Yeah, no, they didn't mention it at all.
So I don't know.
And
go ahead.
Sorry for that. So in 1994, he was arrested as a suspect in the murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ron Goodman. Oh, there, Goldman. So, yeah, they actually did. There he is. The pair were found stabbed to death outside of Mrs. Brown's home in Los Angeles. Simpson made an immediate person of interest in the case. On the day he was due to turn himself in, he fled in the famous white Ford Bronco, which they've got the video to enter. I'll play in a second, which is actually kind of funny, which has sparked all kinds of memes over the years. And been used as reference for a lot of people. And I like how they describe it as a slow speed chase.
Yeah, I was about to say that. It was like, I watched the chase. I remember coming home from school, and my grandparents were like, oh, OJ's running from the OJ, I didn't even know what happened. Oh, he supposedly did this. And you're watching this chase, and you're like, this doesn't look like a police chase.
This is a police chase?
Yeah. Okay,
so here's the video.
Like a movie.
Actually, Jim Hill.
Look, why is he flashing his lights? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I mean, for a bunch of racist LA cops, they really are treating a suspected murderer with kid gloves there.
Yeah, that was right after the LA riots, right? Yeah, that was after the LA riots. 2 years.
Yeah, it was around the same time that happened.
It was like 2 years after the LA riot. So the tensions were high with the police. So maybe that was the reason why they were kind of hands off, kind of slow, because it was 2 years after the LA riots, and they were probably like, we can't do nothing too crazy.
Yep. So it's just funny to me. So like, keep watching.
I could see Al Kelly.
Yeah, that looks like a real scary high-speed chase right there.
I know, right?
Look, he's just driving through neighborhoods, turn his blinkers on, just like, hey, guys.
He's just having fun.
Everybody's just cheering him on.
And then he just goes into his house like nothing happened.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It just didn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. For the racist LAPD cops, sure are treating him pretty nicely. Just saying.
And then his friend that was driving him, did he do any time for helping him try to escape? He just dropped him off, and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm out of here."
Right, pretty much, yeah. That's what happened. So in the ensuing case, they dubbed the trial of the century because it was like on everything. It's still a controversial decision, even to this day. The U.S. media and prosecutors argued Simpson had killed Brown in a jealous fury. That's what they're claiming. Evidence included blood, hair, and fiber tests linking Simpson to the murders. The defense argued Simpson was framed by police who were motivated by racism. If that was the case, they would have pitted that car and beat him in the streets.
Yes. Yeah,
so
motivated by
racism. I'm just going to go out on a limb there if they actually believe that. And they would have done much more in that police chase.
By a very famous football player who was pretty much loved within the football NFL.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of police officers loved him too.
Yeah.
So how did
not that I'm saying that the LAPD officers weren't racist. I'm just saying they sure treated him with kid gloves for being unapologetic racist.
For the type of murder too, the type of murder should have been. You'd figure they'd be really hunting him down. You got this guy that supposedly slashed and 2 people, and we're just gonna take it nice and slow with him. So I had something fishy about it. I don't know.
Yep. So in one of the trial's most memorable moments, prosecutors asked Simpson to put on a pair of bloodstained gloves allegedly found at the scene of the murder, but Simpson struggled to fit his hands in them, which could be a many number of reasons why they didn't fit. Michael has a really interesting theory we'll bring up here in a bit, but I want to continue on with this. It led to one of the Simpsons lawyers, Johnny Cochran, telling the jury in his closing arguments, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, which is the most famous line from that court case, by the way. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Yep, I remember that line. Johnny Cochran. Was it Johnny Cochran?
Yep.
Yeah.
Johnny Cochran, good old Cochran, get you off for anything.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
And the jury ultimately decided Ms. Simpson and was declared that he was absolutely 100% not guilty and acquitted, proven hugely controversial, which we know. The family of Miss Smith and Mr. Goldman did not give up. They pursued a civil case in 1997, and the jury found Simpson liable for the 2 deaths, which I find interesting. So they found him liable in the civil case, but not in the criminal case. I don't understand how that works.
So I would think they found him liable because he probably knew who did it, but didn't do it himself. He probably had knowledge of it.
Yeah, I almost forgot about this. In 2006, he sold a book manuscript titled "If I Did It." I thought that was the craziest thing in the world to name your book. Is "If I Did It."
OJ.
It's giving a hypothetical account of the murders if he had actually done it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Why would you even give a hypothetical account if you actually done it? Why would you? You know what I mean? Like, well, if I was gonna do it, I would have did it like this. I mean, that's just weird to me.
It is weird.
It is weird. If I didn't do it and I was clean slate, I walk away. I would never speak of it. I would never talk about it. I wouldn't write a book about it because I don't want nothing to do with something I didn't do.
Yep. You would think, though. You would think, but that's just how people work and operate. So here's CNN Stephanie Alam reporting on OJ's death, and accidentally said the quiet part out loud. This is coming from Charlie Kirk. I thought this was pretty funny. So listen to this. Listen to this fun little. You mean her six head?
Oh, okay. I thought I was tripping.
No, that's she got more head space than me.
Dang, looks like a Klingon.
I mean, see, like my forehead is like to here. Her forehead's like, you know, way up there. Anyway, sorry. Stop making fun of the woman. Let's just listen to her stupid ideas instead.
And it's also just worth noting how much was impacted by this trial, Jake. So many things happened. We saw policing changing here in the city. And it's also worth noting, because of that unrest, that racial unrest in the 90s, that is why so many people who may not have been invested in O.J. Simpson were just happy to see that someone who was rich and famous and black could get away with what other people did in the system as well, too.
Get away with other people did in the system as well. So like you're saying that it's okay because he's black to get away with murder.
Yes.
Got it.
Oh my God, man. That just made my whole brain flip.
That hurts my brain, man.
That literally hurt my brain. Exactly what you said. It's okay. It's good to see a black man get off with murder because other races get off with it too, or get away with it.
Yeah, so
here's
with
it. No one.
Yeah, and so in that same vein, here is the reaction of Oprah's audience when it happened.
BA 097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
Just happy to see a black man get away with the things that other people are doing in the system. Right? That's the reaction.
And this was done again right after the LA riots. So that's why the tensions were still high. I mean, look at now. We still talk about George Floyd. How many years later? We still talk about Trayvon Martin. How many years later? The Central Five. So that was only 2 years after, that whole LA riots. So yeah, I can see why they were cheering, because they saw the injustice 2 years ago, and they didn't matter if he did it or not. They just wanted to see justice in favor of somebody that looked like them, and they didn't care if a white woman died, back then.
So in that same vein, here's another one. This is a juror saying 90% of the jury thought he actually did it.
Do you think that there are members of the jury that voted to acquit OJ because of Rodney King?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you think felt that way?
Oh, probably 90% of us.
90%? Did you feel that way?
Yes.
That was payback.
Uh-huh.
You think that's right?
Now,
the apathetic nature of that clip is amazing.
Now let me
to me.
say this. This was my first time seeing this clip. And exactly what I said, what I thought, it was true. They wanted justice because of Rodney King, and that's why they were like, well, we're not going to find him guilty. And it's crazy, the smirk and her whole ego of, it is what it is. That's why we did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
It is what it is, my friends. It is what it is.
That is crazy.
And before anybody gets it twisted about this, it's like this would be even if OJ was white, I would be still saying the same thing. There's no way this guy should be walking around free. Exactly. I say that about a lot of people that do a lot of nasty things, like Epstein, for instance, needs to be under the prison in worse ways than one, right? But he got off easy. And so did all the other people connected to Epstein that are absolutely disgusting, evil individuals that should be under the prison as well. But because of our system is protecting them, we can't get to them, right? Because they're untouchable. And the same system, that these individuals exist in.
Was there any reaction from the president to O.J. Simpson's death? Do you know if they ever crossed paths? If so, how, when?
So I'll say this: our thoughts are with his families during this difficult time. Obviously, with his family and loved ones. And I'll say this: I know that they have asked for some privacy, and so we're going to respect that. I'll just leave it there.
I bet they asked for some privacy. Yeah, I
But
bet.
it's the point that they will go out of their way to make a statement on OJ's death, but they still will never talk about the 13 Marines that died in Afghanistan because of his stupid withdrawal. Brothers and sisters in the same service I served in died because of you, and you can't even bother to talk. Not only that, you got one of the Gold Star family fathers arrested because he shouted at you during the State of the Union. But okay, fine. Let's have sympathy for OJ's family, right? And leave them alone. Let's just do that. But we can't even mention the other families that you were responsible for. Okay.
And this just goes to show you how they feel about your average day American. If you're rich, they'll praise you all day. If you're nothing to them, like those Marines and those service members were, they don't care. Like that young lady that was raped, Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley.
They don't care. They don't care. You know, and at our level, yes. Do we forget? Do we remember all names? No, we don't. At that level, they should know everybody that gets hurt by somebody that's not part of this country, because that's a big deal, especially at their level. Yeah. But they don't care, man. They don't care. We're nothing to them.
Israel bombed U.S. aid worker and killed them, and they've not done anything to say apologies to the family or even ask for accountability from Israel. So
they don't care.
No big deal there.
No big deal. No.
So here's the last couple play on OJ before we go on to the last couple subjects. This is the last interview of OJ Simpson before his death.
Shaq said men shouldn't open up to women because they'll use it against them. He said whenever something go down, they're going to throw it back in your face. Do y'all agree? OJ first.
OJ first. When you say open up to women, I don't know what he's talking about. Is he talking about confessing? Is he talking about confessing? No, man, don't confess. No, I think you're right. Don't say nothing. It was your lying eyes.
Yeah.
So leave me out of the confession.
Yeah. Oh, no confession.
I'm glad they find it funny.
They find it funny, and he's telling you exactly. He's telling you the truth right there. The dude was close to death, man. He had nothing to lose at that point. He was saying it without saying it.
Yeah.
He's telling you exactly.
Don't confess, even though there's clips upon clips of this dude saying stuff similar to that.
Yeah.
Of like him finding out that he did it.
Maybe.
Just outright openly just saying he did it without saying he did it.
Yeah.
But Michael has a different theory on that before we get off this subject. I wanted to bring that up because it is interesting that you brought it up.
He's correct you're correct when you said that he did it. But he did it, but he didn't do it. So my theory is that his son had some play in it. Because if you look at the size of him, his son was probably in his mid-20s right there. I think when OJ and his wife are going through that divorce, custody battles, money, his son was already grown. So his son was out the picture when it comes to custody. Two little ones are probably going with the mother. The mother, you know, she was coming for everything. The money, the house, all of that. OJ, with his oldest son, they're being real close. I think he had a lot of influence on his son. He's like, we can't have that. We can't have her taking everything from us. So we got to do something about it. This is all a theory. America, educational purposes only, okay? This is just my brain, the way it works. So I think the son probably had something to do with it. Had the glove. The son's probably hands are smaller. They're about the same in size. Had the glove, left it. When they said the gloves didn't fit, you must have quit. When he put the gloves on, obviously the gloves weren't going to fit, even though it had all the DNA from the wife and everything else on there. They were the right gloves, but they only fit the son's hands because the son's hands were smaller. They never even thought about the son. And his son's a chef, so maybe he knew something with some knives and stuff.
It's just like saying. Because of the eyewitnesses' accounts say that somebody that looked like OJ, similar build, similar profile
Look
as
at
well. So like it's kind of interesting that you bring it up. Is like the reason the glove didn't fit is because it wasn't OJ's. It was the kids. It's either he did it himself or he was an accomplice to the whole situation. So he was an accomplice. He was helping his father, but he left the gloves, and so obviously they wouldn't fit OJ because they were meant for him.
And if you think about it, they was talking about DNA, probably hair. They was finding all this stuff. So when they did find the hair, they did find the DNA. It never came back to OJ. They didn't know who it was because the son probably was never in the system. They probably didn't have his DNA. They probably never even thought about it being him. The only person of interest was OJ, not the son. So what I'm saying is for somebody to walk up on her and her friend, as they say, she had to know the person and be very comfortable with the person and never would have thought somebody would do something like that. Probably he walked up. She was like, hey, what's going on? Oh, hey, mother. Like, wow, 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 you know.
Which is
I don't know.
so crazy to me. The majority of murders are done by people you know.
Yeah.
And most murders are never actually solved.
Yeah, I'm just that's just my thought. And the dad probably knew when he left the glove. Who leaves gloves? Think about it. If you're going to take somebody out, nobody's going to leave any type of evidence at all. You know, sometimes they slip up, the clumsy ones. But if it's well planned out, a lot of these people aren't going to leave anything. So he probably dropped both gloves. Both gloves were left. And just left it there in plain sight for them to find. So when they found it, OJ knew that this was going to go to trial. They were going to come after him. That's why he was all nonchalant when he was driving in the car. He wasn't worried about it. They took him. He put the gloves on. He knew they wouldn't fit. He knew the DNA that they found wasn't going to be his. They would have never thought about his son doing it. They would have never even thought about it. Son probably had an accomplice or something saying he was here at this time. You know what I mean?
And all
it's
that
easy to do. Was there at this time. Did his due. Left the evidence. They found the evidence because if OJ would have did it and say he did slip up and leave some evidence, he knew he would have been done. You know what I mean? So the son left it. None of the evidence or none of the DA matched OJ's. And the gloves were left, didn't match OJ's. And they were just like, the glove don't fit. You must have quit. And then with this whole Rodney King deal, you know, people were so mad about that. He knew he was going to walk. It was planned right at the right time, I think.
But at the end of the day, we'll never know. We'll never know. So last little bit of information before we head out of here. I want to bring this to your attention. Roku has patented and actually, let me show you the patent first before I show you the article because like this is actually really important. And I'll link it to you guys so you have it. This is the actual patent from Google Patents. This is Roku has patented an ability to. So here's what it say: for ad insertion by display device coupled to media device via high definition media interface (HDMI) connections, right? Where the media device provides media content or a control signal, when the media device pauses the media content, the display device can determine that the pause event has occurred and insert an ad shown on the display device. So for those of you not following that gobbledygook, it means you can attach anything to the TV, right? Like your PlayStation. And when you pause your game, it'll play an ad with or without your consent through the HDMI, which you have no control over because it's hardware. So they will force you to watch an ad on something you're not paying to watch or for whatever other reason, right? To get out of it.
Yeah, because there's apps out there like, let's say YouTube, for example. If you pay into YouTube, no, you won't get ads. So now they're just going to totally, you pay for PlayStation. When you pay for your subscription to PlayStation, you know, the network, you don't expect to see ads for something you're paying for. So they're just going to bypass all that and just say, we're going to show you the ad anyway.
Yeah, anytime you pause anything on your TV, ad.
Wow. That's crazy.
Ad. So that's what they're patenting.
And is that
that's
what
the
apps
link, like
included? Apps that are in the TV?
Everything is going to have that. Like they're going to force the ads regardless. So like if you try not to use any of the ads, any apps on your TV, they're still going to give you ads through your TV via your HDMI cable input. That's what they're going to do. So you're still going to have to see ads regardless if you use some other sorts of like media box or PlayStation or whatever to bypass all that, they're still going to show you an ad because it's attached to the hardware now and not the software.
So does that include Wi-Fi? Like for my smart TV, there's nothing HDMI hooked up to it. Everything's straight.
They will just inject the ads regardless of what you're doing. So like even if you just have it on your HDMI, they're still gonna show, like even if you don't use your HDMI, you're still gonna get ads, right? So like Amazon's already done this with theirs, where they force play ads on the Fire Sticks, like when you start it up.
That's insane. And guaranteed, like we said earlier, it's all going to be political ads. It's all going to be Joe Biden, because that's, like I said, that's all I'm seeing on YouTube now is Joe Biden ads.
Political
That's
ads?
it.
Yeah.
Political ads.
Yeah, so there are a bunch of companies are already doing this. So Roku's idea of showing ads on your HDMI input seems like an inevitable hell. Amazon, Google, and now Roku seem determined to test just how much advertising consumers are willing to tolerate. Most people aren't. No. And I would suggest, even though like it affects YouTube ad revenues and stuff like that, if you do not want to see ads, there are things you can get, like uBlock, for instance, to block advertisements through Google Chrome extensions. Probably. I don't know. If you don't do that, then you can hook up a media box, like get like a small computer for like $200-300. They have like these little computer boxes you can get, and then just play it through a web browser through that and not have ads because you have uBlock or something else. But there are other ways to do it. You can also do blocks through your router. There's tons of ways to block things, but it's very technical. Like I said, there are ways to do it.
I got to look into
But
that.
they make it absolutely difficult for you to not have to accept these stupid things in the first place. So, like I said, in this week's edition of Lopez Newsletter, Jingo, how do you say that last name?
I can't see it.
Rujetters? Jesus, that is a weird name. I've never seen that one before. Anyway, covered the Roku patent that seemed to telegraph that the company is planning heavy advertising tactics for those who purchase Roku TV televisions. The patent centers around the idea of displaying ads on those TVs whenever they're tuned to a HDMI input that's paused or idle. Like I said, so it's going to be on the Roku TVs for now. Whether other companies buy that tech and implement it into their TVs is a different story. So even if you have the Roku box, it'll probably do like the same thing. It'll still inject it through the HDMI.
So my theory is this is a way, about the EBS, right? The EBS going off the emergency broadcasting stuff, right? So if I'm playing my video game and of course I'm running through HDMI, if there was an electron broadcasting system alert, you wouldn't get it if you're in the middle of a game or if something HDMI is hooked up, something that's separate from your Wi-Fi TV. Yep. Now, since they're doing that, it's easy for them to put out any type of alert that they want to. So you could be in the middle of a game and you'd be like, "Man, I'm playing PlayStation. This alert's didn't used to come on." Now, with this, the alert will still come on while you're still playing your game, or using a Fire Stick, or using some separate box from your TV through the HDMI. So it makes
and I've seen this. I've seen what Amazon's done too, because they did. I have a Fire Stick that I use, and they started playing trailers through when the device starts up, like an automatic ad. Right as soon as it starts up, they do it, which upset a lot of people. And here's one of the spokespeople for Amazon. What they said: "We're constantly looking for ways to help customers discover our TV shows and movies on the Fire TV, and ads are one way to do that. So they're forcing you to watch an ad when you start up a product you already bought from them, in order to advertise their shows without consent, without your knowledge, just automatically going to do it. Rapey behavior. Like we're just going to do it, whatever, and then you can." Do it, or it's like it or not. It's not up to you. It's up to us. So like the fact that these media companies are forcing you into agreements that you don't actually have any choice to opt out of. Right. Wow. So like they don't even give you the options, or if they do give you the options, they bury it in text or in a menu screen somewhere, so you don't actually have access to it.
That is so messed up, though.
Yeah.
And, ads are annoying. I don't pay for my YouTube,
Yeah.
So I have to suffer through ads, but that is the most annoying thing ever.
Yep.
So imagine paying for it, and then you're still getting the ads. So why pay for it? Cancel all your subscriptions. Why even pay for that stuff if they're going to force you to watch ads? You might as well just not pay for the service and take the ads because they're coming anyway.
Yeah. So like they're gonna I get it for like free content and stuff like that. Most people are like, okay, if I watch free content, then getting ads is inevitable. They got to pay for it somehow, right? But if I'm paying for a service, I don't want ads.
No.
Right? Like them doing the idea that they were going to put ads in like Netflix or whatever for certain packages is like, no, if I'm paying for something, I'm not getting ads.
I don't
want
it.
That's if I wanted that, I would have stuck to television. I would have stuck to cable. I would have done the original thing, which was just watch TV, live TV. That's what I would have done because that's what they do, right? I pay for the service, but they're still going to show me ads anyway because they pay for the television shows, right? So like that's the reason why that worked that way. The reason the internet came about and these became so popular is to get away from ads in the first place. So
You know what this reminds me of? Government ran television.
The CBC,
yeah. Think about government ran television.
The BBC,
the CCP does. At any moment in time with this, say the president's giving an address. That's nothing serious. It's just he wants to talk about whatever the hell he wants to mumble about.
Yeah.
That means through your HDMI, they can turn everything. That doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm in the middle of a game. Doesn't matter. I'm watching this. It doesn't matter. Through your HDMI, they can shut everything down and play the president's address to pretty much force you to watch it. All at the same time. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's almost
That's
like
crazy.
the CCP. It's controlled television. It can get to the point to where, let's say, they want you to watch a certain type of news or a certain this at a certain time. They're going to control what you watch at certain times of the day. It starts off as ads. If they have the ability to do that with ads, they can control what you watch. We want them to watch this propaganda video made by the government. We're going to blast it out as an ad at the same time to everybody. Think about that.
We're gonna do an ad.
I'm all over conspiracy theorists, man. I don't trust them. I don't trust anything they do at all. And this is something they would do. They would push propaganda using this. Propaganda. It wouldn't just be movie ads. It'd be propaganda, man. Watch.
That it could be a lot of things, and that's why it sucks that we're living in this dystopia future where we have to be forced to watch ads. But like once we get Neuralink, they'll just directly inject the ads into our brains, right?
Oh yeah.
That's just how it's gonna be.
Through your pods, you put on a pod, you get frequencies and all types of ads. We know you have your pods on. Today, President Joe Biden would like to thank you for being a very obedient citizen. You get 10 credits.
Jarhead, head in the jar, Biden, right? That's gonna be like Agnew from Nixon from Futurama, right? So before we're out of here, I got one other thing I wanted to talk about, and that's the Fallout TV show. I watched it. It came out today, technically last night at midnight. It's actually doing fairly well. So critics and audiences are taking it well. I got 93% on Certified Fresh from the critics, and then the audience score is actually 85. So we don't have a ratio here, which is good. It's not recommended for people that are squeamish because it's a very violent show. Because it's a wasteland. It's literally based off the video game, and it's a capital wasteland. It has like people doing really crazy things to survive in the nuclear wasteland. If you like the games, it's great. Even if you have never heard of the games and you watch the show, you can understand it, which I think is what they did a really good job with, is that people that are non-initiated to the lore, they could watch this and still understand what's going on. Unlike what they did with Halo on Paramount Plus, nobody knows what's going on with that. Nobody cares. So I would recommend it, but then also I need you to take it with a grain of salt because there is some obligatory DEI stuff in there, which really upsets me. And it's annoying because it takes away from the actual good story. And the main characters on there happen to be both a woman and a black man. And it upsets me because they're both very talented actors. And I hate that I have to think about, are they in it because they have to check the boxes for the award shows? That's what I'm thinking about every time I see them. So the dude that plays the aspirant for the Brotherhood of Steel. I think his name's down here. I should look it up. Aaron Moten, right? He reminds me of a young Cuba Gooding Jr., right? In his acting. That's who he reminds me of. Like he's a good actor. But then I also have to think about, did they do his character just because they have to fit the DEI quota? And that upsets me, right? And not only that, so in the show, the funniest thing about this is that in their way of being equitable, he gets passed over for a promotion by a trans chick. I shit you not. Gets passed over for a trans chick. Or man, or whatever, however that transition thing works. Anyway, the nondescript trans person passes over the black dude for promotion in the show, and the only way he gets the promotion is because them causes self-harm to themselves in order to get out of the service, and then him getting blamed for the crime too of it. Right, it's super stupid. Anyway, so I would recommend it. And Michael hasn't seen it yet, so that's why he's not saying anything about it. But I would recommend it. Just get past the obligatory DEI stuff, and I think it'll be fine. It's a good show. It's just, if you're squeamish, don't watch it. That's my recommendation. But other than that, it's one of the few good shows in 2024, even if it does have the DEI stuff in it. That's my recommendation. Anyway, we'll be back on tomorrow night for the Savage Patriots. What are we talking about tomorrow? Do you know? You're muted, Michael. I never lost audio from you. I don't know. Yeah, we lost audio on Michael. Okay. Yeah, like I said, looking at the chat, like I said, my taste in TV is all over the place. So if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. I just wanted to give you my breakdown of that. I wouldn't recommend it for certain individuals, and that's fine. We will be trying to review the Civil War movie coming up as well. Since that's coming out this week as well, and we'll let you know what we think about it. From what I've seen and heard so far of reviewers, it's trash, as most things are these days. Well, since we lost Michael, we'll go ahead and close out the show. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Sorry for the mix-up this earlier and the technical difficulties. Now we will be back tomorrow night with the Savage Patriots. Oh, okay, there we go. Now Michael's back. Anyway, what are we covering tomorrow? Do you know? Yet. No, his audio is still going on. Okay, never mind. Oh, fun days. Sorry about that. Lives are always like this. Anyway, we'll see you all tomorrow for the Savage Patriots. Same time, same place. We'll be back on Tuesday for the Hooch. We love you, America. And we are out.